Hey, everyone. It's your girl, Jennifer Bianca again. Thank you so much for watching. Listen, I'm just going to do a quick video for those of my HRpreneurs. If you are an HRpreneur, you know exactly who you are. You're an HR professional that desires to turn your skills into a profitable business, a side hustle, full-time, replace your income, whatever it is. If that is you, I am your girl, and I'm here to help. I wanted to share a nugget with you all today. One of my great, I'll consider her a mentor, but also a colleague, and I were talking about this. And it's super important, especially in this season, because if you're watching this video is being done in the midst of COVID-19 in 2020, and we're closing out 2020. And there are a lot of parents that have to make decisions as to whether or not their children are going to go to school, stay in school, whatever. I mean, just lots of different decisions. Are they going to go into work? Are they not going to go into work? I know there are some people that are making decisions like, I'm just going to go and start my own business because I can't have anybody telling me to come in and I don't feel safe, whatever the reason is. So there's just a lot of different things happening right now in this season. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you all about as HRpreneurs is that when you have clients, you have to set your expectations in advance. Okay. You don't let them tell you what you're going to do. You have a life, right? So I'll give you a quick example. I have a client that I've been working with on an ongoing basis for years. And so they've had me on retainer off and on. Things happen in the business, so they weren't able to necessarily keep me on retainer, but they ended up hiring me on an as needed basis for HR services. So one of the things that I specified is that, hey, listen, if you hire me on an as needed basis versus a retainer, you don't have access to me the way that you do when you have me on retainer, right? In terms of the communication, because when you have me on retainer, I'm answering your call, you're a priority. I have all of these things outlined. Whenever my clients utilize Career Image Solutions, they hire us on a retainer, you get priority treatment. Not that if you are a client, you won't get the best treatment. No, that's not what I'm saying. However, we have parameters in place. Okay. So because of that level of commitment and customer service that they were used to, and honestly, that's just really who I am anyway. I like to just overserve. But it could be to your demise, which is what I'm telling you all. I've made all the mistakes for you, so don't do it, okay? But what I realized is that, so anyway, we transitioned and to, ad hoc services as needed. And I mean, they were still expecting the same, like, hey, I emailed you. I'm like, yeah, you emailed me 2 hours ago. And I said that we will get back to you by the next business day. We have our retainers that are, our retainer clients are our priority. And that's the thing now, that if you are a ad hoc, member, that's one of the things that's in our agreement, right? That we will get back to you by the next day. Sometimes we'll get back to you the same. Most times we get back to individuals in the same day, but they're like wanted a response like right away. And it's like, you don't really get that right away, right? You just don't. So there were a number of things that just kind of kept happening. And I actually happened to hire another HR consultant to assist with this particular client. So they just kind of kept doing the same things. It's not like the work wasn't being done, but we specified the time frame and in which it was being done, which it would get completed, which that particular project would get completed. But for some reason, it was just like they were expecting it sooner, and I just didn't know where the disconnect was, because we made sure that we told them up front. So I finally had to have a conversation with the client. There were a number of people who were part of that leadership chain, and I had to finally have the conversation. And I'm like, listen, we have we're not just waiting for you to call us, right? We're not just waiting we don't even know when you're going to call. So it's an unfair expectation for us to just be on standby, waiting for you to call and then expecting us to just do things that are tailored right away to you, right? That they're tailored and you expect us to turn it around right away. And you all know HR stuff, there's a few things you can do quick turnarounds, but this is not a resume. These are like HR specific things that need to be tailored to you. And my team knows that I have an expectation that your day is planned out the day before, right? So we have things already planned. So what I'm saying is what really helped in gearing, I guess, and continuing that dialogue is because I was able to point to the agreement and say, hey, listen, this is what you agreed to. Now, are you looking to have us on retainer again? Or do you want to continue? Because if you continue having us on an ad hoc agreement, what's going to happen is that we're going to get back to, of course, we're going to get back to, of course, we're still going to serve you in excellence, but there's a different time frame, right? So I had all of those things outlined in advance. So I'm sharing this with you all because, especially in this season, you have some of you your kids might be working home, going to school from home with you, and you might be taking care of elderly parents. Whatever your situation, shucks, you just might need to get your own mental health back, right? Whatever it is, you need to set those boundaries and set them in advance so that way clients don't over expect for you to over deliver, right? They don't over expect it, because what I learned, trust me, early on, is that when you give them, you say, oh, it's 8:00 at night, I'm gonna text you, can you give me this, blah 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 blah. When you allow that, they're going to expect that to continue. And shucks, we still have a few clients that are like that, right? But they have us on retainer. But again, you just want to make sure that you're setting those boundaries in advance. So for example, if your day ends at 5:00, you want to make sure that you honor that. So if somebody calls you at 5:05, you might, maybe you'll be like, hey, maybe you send them an email. Thanks so much for giving me a call. I'll make sure you're the first person on my call list tomorrow. So some things to consider, you setting boundaries over. First thing I just gave you, which is your schedule. Oh my goodness, your schedule is super, super important. Okay. Your schedule is super important. So you want to make sure that you share what your schedule is. One of the things I like to do is to put my schedule in my signature so people know the hours that you can reach me, the hours that I'm unavailable. I like to just go ahead and let you know up front, right? So let your clients know what your schedule is, the days that you are off, the times that you're available to talk. Even if you just tell them, hey, you know what, I do my follow-up calls on Wednesdays. Can this wait until Wednesday? Just share it, right? Just share it. So that's definitely one thing that you want to make sure that you're setting expectations in advance, so that way your clients know what in the heck to expect. Because, I remember I used to, I have so many stories about this. I'm like at the doctor's appointment. So I'm like, oh, can you do this? I'm like, no, I'm at the doctor's appointment. But really, how are they supposed to know that I was at a doctor's appointment? They were used to being spoiled. Think about it with children, right? You keep giving them candy every day. The day that you stop giving them candy, they're going to look at you like, where is my candy? And you're like, you ain't getting no candy because I decided to stop, right? So you want to make sure that you set those things up in advance. Set it up. I like to set it up in writing, but sometimes even if it is in writing, you have to make sure that you have to teach people sometimes how you need to be treated. Right. And this isn't a negative thing, or it's just you understanding your life, which is why in the program that I teach, in either Start Your HR Biz or Hire Yourself, Turning Your HR Skills into a Profitable Business. This is why one of the very first things that I have our HRpreneurs do is to go through your schedule. figure out what's important, what the priorities are. We literally go through that, because if you don't have that in place, especially if you're still working at a full-time job where you have other obligations, you're in ministry, you're a parent, you have this going on, that going on, this going on, right? You're still networking. You listen, you will definitely feel like there are people that's going to be pulling and tugging at you. You have to establish those schedule boundaries in advance. The second tip that I'll just leave you with today in terms of scheduling boundaries, you want to make sure that you schedule boundaries in terms of how they communicate with you. Oh my gosh, super important. How do your clients communicate with you? Is your preferred, listen, be honest with yourself. Now, I get it, because sometimes in the beginning stages, you might be like, oh, let me just go ahead and do that. I know that was me a whole lot of times, like, man, my clients want people that's, available by phone, things of that nature. So, I mean, now we have a team. So it's like, hey, if you call, you can call and somebody else might pick up. Or if you call, I might pick up some days. And we have electronic phone numbers. Is that the right word? Mobile phone numbers. So depending on which day you call, the phones are transferred to different people, right? But bottom line is that I don't like for people to just be able to call me at any given time. That's just, listen, I'm a whole wife, a whole mother. We about to have 5 children, right? And a whole ministry leader, a whole businesswoman. I mean, it's just, list goes on and on and on. And by the way, I still like to enjoy, my own personal time. So I schedule everything. Like literally. So it's like, that freaks me out. Like, don't call me when I'm not ready to talk to you. Sometimes it works, but majority of the time it does not work. So my preferred communication method is email. So what we ended up doing was developing systems that allow people to kind of filter through our preferred communication style. So you want to set those boundaries, so if this person is a prospective customer, you want to make sure that there are certain systems in place. That's something else that I teach in my course. There's certain systems in place that you have, so that way people can still get in touch with you, but you want to make sure things are timely. And then if they are a client of yours, what type of client of yours is going to get phone time? What type of client of yours is going to get email time? What type of client of yours is going to get, even some of you, even text time, or both video time? Some people, not everybody gets video time with me, right? You might just get phone time. Can we do a Zoom? No, we cannot, because that means I have to get up and get dressed and get cute. That's extra time. If that's what you really want, then we could talk about that, right? Let's put that in your plan. So again, you want to set those expectations up front. I truly hope that this was helpful. If it was, make sure you go ahead and you let me know in the comment section that this was helpful to you. Listen, if you want to know more about setting up systems, setting up operations, getting your HR business to the next level, or even just starting it, I am your girl. You want to make sure that you're checking out kingdomhr.biz, and take a look at some of our upcoming programs that might be of interest to you. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, don't forget to command your day.